Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. And as you can tell by the title of the video today, we are going to be talking about something a little bit different than I normally do on my channel, and that is how to build inner confidence. It isn't too far off of what I normally do, as I'm a hairdresser and I normally share with you the knowledge that I have in hair and beauty and cosmetology, and basically all that's doing is making you look your best to give you more confidence. And just the word confidence, I do think that we all kind of have maybe a little bit of a different definition for what that means or what that means for us. I have to say that as an introvert and as my younger self, I used to think that confidence meant you walked into a room and were really loud and wanted that attention on you, which was so not me, still isn't. And no, confidence is far deeper than that. And what I want to talk about today is inner confidence. So basically I'm going to go over a few ideas that I have, some of which were taught to me by amazing people in my life, and other points that I feel like I have grown into. All right, so with that being said, number one, I feel like you can't have confidence without this first point here, and that is self-love. It's so sad, but this is probably one of the most difficult ones that we probably all struggle with. To have that love for yourself, for even when you do make mistakes, that you would have for your best friend or for a family member. And this one is very tough for me because I can be so harsh on myself and I can be so understanding and loving and empathetic towards others. And when I started to see how the love I gave myself versus others was so off, that's when it really made it kind of more of a turning point for me. I also used to think I will love myself when I need to get better at this, I need to look better, I need to lose 10 pounds, I need to all of these things. And then once I'm there, then I will love myself. That is not self-love. You should love yourself enough to want to go get those things and to achieve all of that and to hold yourself accountable in order to achieve these things, but you should still love yourself now. One tip that I've learned and has really helped me is actually taking time to congratulate yourself when you have a win, no matter how small. One thing I noticed that I would do is I would say the first time I flew on my own, I was terrified of flying by myself, not with other people, but getting on a flight by myself, somehow it terrified me. The first time I did it, I was like, oh my God, I did it and that was easy and that was fine. I was fine. But right away, the voice in my head was like, everybody does this all the time. Like, this isn't special. Move on with your life. And so I did. And that's so wrong. So when you do something, even if it's super easy to your neighbor, to your friend, to even your family members, if it's not easy for you and you have accomplished something, take that time to really feel proud of yourself. And you don't have to put on this grand gesture to yourself, but just really feel it and take that in. And again, it's so much easier to congratulate someone else on a positive achievement than it is for yourself. So you really need to start telling your mind these positive, beautiful affirmations because you're so damn incredible. Now feel it and receive that. I feel like another very important point to self-love and inner confidence is to have and set very clear boundaries. Not only for others, but for yourself as well. So this means that say you're hanging out with someone that constantly belittles you, makes you feel terrible. After a while, if you continue to hang out with this person, you're going to start hating yourself and not that person because you're allowing it. So setting that boundary between you and that person, whether it means to disconnect from that person or whether you verbally tell them this is not okay, I can't continue to receive whatever it is that you're giving me. And obviously you can use whatever language is appropriate for the situation. Right away, that's making you accountable for the situation and putting you in control. So that means that if that person does it again, now they're not doing it and like, oh, oops, I didn't know that was hurting your feelings. Now they're aware. So now it's on them if they do it. And then if they continue to do it, then it's your job to obviously get away from this situation. I feel like a lot of self-hate from the years of being behind a chair and the stories that I would hear isn't so much like what you look like or what you want to achieve or the things you want to have. It normally is more you're not proud of how you've acted in specific situations. So that is one way that you can I'm not going to say easily, but one way that you can definitely take control and feed that inner confidence. All right, so this next tip obviously comes from me being a hairdresser, but I can't diminish the importance of taking care of you and how you look. Now, I look at taking care of your weight, your body, how you eat, how much you move. I think of that as taking care of my future self. If I eat healthy today and work out, I'm not necessarily going to feel the benefits today, but that is what I'm going to show the world in a couple of weeks or a couple of months. I prioritize that, and that gives me a lot of inner confidence. So when I feel like I've put in a good workout, I've, meditated, I've taken the dog for a walk, I've been outside, I've got some vitamin D. No matter what the day looks like, I feel like I've already done so much for my future self that makes me feel good. Even if I've had a cheeseburger. The fact that I had one decision that maybe it was naughty, but I did all these other things to supplement not only my well-being today, because I feel proud of my achievements today, but I also know that those achievements are going to pay off in the future as well. So it's a double win. So I think once you start looking at health and eating in that way, it's less about, I really want this cheeseburger and I shouldn't have it, or whatever it is that you like to eat. It's more about thinking of how you're going to feel after you eat this. So that's the stay ready so you don't have to get ready. And so now coming back to the things you can do on a daily basis. I think no matter what your line of work, you should see yourself presented the best that you can at least a couple times a week. Now, I get it if you're a mom and if you don't have time or you have a crazy demanding job, especially now that we have to wear masks, and the world is different and I get it, but you should still have a couple of days a week where when you're at home, you feel beautiful. And I know that that probably sounds so silly right now and like there are bigger problems in the world, but I feel like all solutions to most problems start with you at home. If you feel confident, if you feel happy, grounded, you are going to be able to handle everything better than if you weren't doing those things. And I've heard friends say like, oh, I haven't had my hair out of a bun in a month or whatever. So no matter how well you look put together when you put in all the effort, what counts is kind of the average in a month of how you look. That is you. So to me, during the lockdown and spending more time at home, where I've gotten way more comfortable is with my clothing. I was never a sweats person. I was never into loungewear really. And now I've gotten cuter loungewear or loungewear that is in my color palette that I feel comfortable in. And yeah, that's what I wear. I don't wear jeans. I don't wear any tight clothing. I just wear clothes to be comfortable and cozy at home. But I have done my hair and makeup probably every single day that I've been home. And I swear to you, that is not for anyone else but me. Anyway, even if you have a day off and you're like, oh, I can just lounge, get ready. It'll take you half an hour and it will make your day far better, I promise. All right, my next tip for inner confidence is to give and spread more love. And this one's kind of funny because you're thinking like, I want to receive that so I feel more confident, but it's contagious. The more love, the more warmth that you give, that's what you're radiating, that's what you're surrounded by. It is impossible for you to just give out good and constantly receive bad. So if you're constantly being this ray of sunshine and light to your friends and to those around you, I promise you, your day will get better. One thing that my mom taught me is when you are working, you sure as hell better put on that happy face. It's one thing with your friends and with your family. You obviously want to be authentic, and if you're not feeling well, you should definitely, talk to someone. But when you're working, that person is paying for your time, your energy, and your attitude, frankly. The whole saying you should never bring your negative baggage into work, I totally believe that. And it's actually one of my biggest pet peeves for someone in any customer service to be rude. And that is because it's something that's been so enlisted in me. So if I'm putting out good energy and you're giving it back to me, I can actually turn that energy around and have the positive energy that I need to do this task. So yeah, be that amazing ray of sunshine that you are. Okay, and for my last tip, and this is something that I wasn't sure if I should necessarily get into. It's something I feel a little bit newer to me in the last year or two. I've been doing a lot of reading and really trying to learn more about this. And what actually triggered me to be interested in this was a book that I read probably almost 2 years ago now. And it's about retraining or learning about your inner voice, and more so rewriting your story. And I used to be like, what does that mean? What is my story? Like, my name is Sylvia and I was born in Portugal and I'm a hairdresser and I do YouTube. Like, is that my story? So it's the same way that you judge others, you judge yourself, and then you have this negative self-talk. And so this book basically asks you questions, basically show you how judgmental we are, not necessarily on others, but how we are on us. And so just getting through the first couple of chapters, you're like, oh, the book is right. I totally do what the average person probably does when asked this question. So this book, rather than just telling you that you're stereotyping everyone that you essentially speak to and meet, but what does that mean for you? How do you stereotypize? How do you stereotype yourself? And that's where it can become so dangerous. And so the deeper I dove into this, the more I realized I've created so many stories about who I am. If you've ever said to someone, oh, I'm so not good at that, I could never do that, that's a story you've told yourself. You absolutely can do that thing. You maybe don't want to, or maybe you've had stuff similar in the past where you didn't, but it does not mean that you cannot. And that was so eye-opening for me. And now I catch myself, and if you can, like, actually write down these, and normally they're like negative self-talk, but it's things that you 100% believe. It was like the whole, like, one of them was I can't fly on my own. Well, you've never tried it, but you absolutely can. Or the whole, like, I hear a lot of people say, like, oh, I could never lose weight. I've always been this weight, or I've always been, my whole family's like this. Again, those are just things you and your family maybe have been telling themselves. And this year, I really got into listening to powerful people either speak or interviews or reading their books. People like Depak Chopra, big podcast, Lewis, I can't think of his last name. Anyway, I'll include a list of everyone that I feel like has been so powerful in learning so much more about these things in the description box down below. But you can't rewrite your story until you know what your old story is. And there's a lot of little things that you've told yourself that on a daily basis, it's just so bringing you down. Coming to terms with it and facing it head on and saying, wow, I've been telling myself for X amount of years that I can't do this thing, or that I'm so this. And that is one of the biggest issues and limitations that human beings have. That's so sad. It is. It literally, every time I think of this, it like almost makes me tear up, because it is like, we are our biggest limits. We can think, oh, it's that person and it's that situation and I'm stuck because of this, and it's none of that. It's all you creating those walls. Bring them down. Be you. Live your most authentic, beautiful, amazing life. The only thing between us and everything that we want is us. And I know that that's like a tough one to hear, but with the exception of good health and all of that, there are things obviously we're not in full control of, but your mind, your body, and your soul are such powerful things, and when you combine them, and so once you embody all of these principles that I've talked about today, how can you not walk into a room and feel like the damn badass self that you are? So anyway, I would love to go on and on on this subject, but I'll leave you guys here. If you have any amazing tips or any mantras or any helpful tips that you live by, please leave them down below. I would love to share them. And maybe if I get enough tips and feedback from you guys, I can do a second video on this if this is something that you guys are interested in. Anyway, don't forget to check out the amazing people that I've learned a lot from. Like I said, I'll leave it down below. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I know it's been a big week. I hope you're all doing well. Sending you my love, positive energy, and I hope you're all doing well. Bye. See you in the next one.